Hi, my name is Tiffany, and I am married to Chad.
That was funny when you did that. I told Tiff to test the mic, and that was her tester. Alright, so let's get into it. Here's my makeshift sign for today.
So you're gonna hang it up here?
Yeah,
I like it.
so Tiff got me a sign and herself for her new endeavor. A sign, what's it called? Neon light?
It's like an LED, but it looks like a bar light.
Yeah, doesn't make noise, does it?
No.
Because that would be horrible.
Yeah.
But today I just put my old 70s guitar up here with my empathy sticker. There used to be a carburetor sticker there.
What's a car? Like, what is that? Is that a
It's like Elderbrock carburetors. It's like a,
brand?
yeah.
Mm.
I would imagine this is the guy before me, like a country dude. Anyway, I took that off and put the empathy sticker, so it's gonna have to be our light today.
Yeah.
So, this
Well.
is our first podcast, and I asked Tiffany to hold my hand because I've been wanting to start a podcast for I don't know how long, at least since January, so 6 months.
That's not true.
It's probably what?
Because do you remember, this is not our first podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That
We've
was-
already done a practice one.
That was like at the beginning of it was
It's
like
before COVID.
2018. I
Wow.
still have it in my email, I think.
Oh,
One day, maybe we can edit it.
yeah. So one day we were having a good day, and I was like, let's practice a podcast. And I can't remember if you were actually up for it or not. You were enough to where I just used our iPhone or one of our phones.
Right. And we did it sitting in bed. Remember we talked about CBD oil, and then you were like, I don't know if we should put that in the podcast because we thought CBD oil was like illegal.
Well, that and I was in such the hardcore sobriety mode. Not that I'm, have anything against that or not in that now. It just, I was like,
Nothing.
it's just that thing of like thinking about what people are gonna think, or like even with this, and like, oh, am I gonna totally be myself, and like, are we gonna cuss on here like we do or something? like I don't know, things have just, so many things have transpired, at least inside of me, that like I just want to do something and totally show up, basically, as myself, as much within reason.
Yeah.
So that's why, just like you've been pushing me to start this for a long time, but also when we were thinking of names, we were on a walk, which we did today, and it's kind of led us to this point.
Sorry, I was on voice talk, and
we're just getting we're going to send somebody, who is that?
Ellie.
We're going to send Ellie our whole podcast on a voice memo, basically. What was I saying? Oh, we were on a walk. We're talking about a name. I had another name in mind, which we didn't go with, which I'm glad we didn't.
Do you remember it? I don't remember it.
Yeah, I remember it. I'm not even going to say it.
Was it The Sensitive Man?
No. That was a different... I'm going to edit that out. That was a different brainstorming.
You should leave it in. It's funny.
Yeah, Ellie laughed so hard she couldn't breathe, but she did the spit thing where she was like,
Because it was kind of a joke of you to say that.
Yeah, but
or maybe not.
It wasn't that much of it wasn't so much a joke that I was going to get made fun of by my 10-year-old. But I was going to say that I had a different name I thought I was going to go by. I was all excited right around the time we released the first song. And, but you kind of called me out on the walk because I've been all over the place many times and start and stop lots of things. And you were like, hey, but don't start something. Don't start it if you're not going to do it.
Right.
So that's kept me, I'm not saying that kept me paused until now, but it does give you a lot to think about instead of just jumping off when you're in a
one good mood.
Yeah, you're in a good mood, and really that makes me think about like this time in our life is such an unknown weird spot to where like I was thinking later this week, like, okay, if I can start it when I'm in like a I wouldn't call it low, but an unknown spot where I'm not all like
high or low.
Yeah, in the high of life. Like, if I can start it on a hard day or just like not a high day, then maybe I could stick to it, you know? So,
yeah.
Do we want to talk about the name? We were talking about it today. Or no, yesterday.
The name of the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say it because you came up with it. But what did you come up with first? And I flipped the words, basically.
Because I was thinking, because you always say, like, so-and-so's coming over to jam or something. Like, you use the word jam a decent amount. And so I think I said, jam and empathy, or then I just said jam, empathy, and then that didn't make sense and you flipped it, right?
And I was like, empathy, jam.
Right. Like, I knew the word jam. I wanted him to use that word.
Yeah.
Because you say it a lot, like I already said.
Yeah. Well, I had thought about, like, do I want to do a music podcast and have, like, musicians on? Or do, you know, I've been releasing my music under Chad Warren Creative. Do I want to do the Chad Warren Creative podcast? And it seemed like I was the only one that really liked that, and it was so neutral.
Oh, what, Chad Warren Creative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the podcast name.
Mm-hmm. And
I guess it's fine that it's separate, or it is good that it's separate. But I've had this, it's not an obsession, but just like a love for empathy, and all things to do with empathy. And I was trying to figure out today, like, how do I bring that up? Because maybe sometimes people have their own preconceived notions of, like, what that means or doesn't mean. And I'm not here to, like, be the... whatever. Everything. It's just, like, it's a name. We appreciate empathy due to my mom's communication stuff. And we've just experienced a lot of stuff that we've shared with a lot of people and will continue. Mm-hmm. But really, to me, it's just about listening. And I think about the moments when I'm having a hard time, or we've all experienced that thing where you finally decide to speak up and tell somebody something that you're actually going through. And then they hit you with a bunch of advice, or like, oh, it'll be fine. And you kind of wish you never said anything. And for a long time, I've been just thinking about listening and how to listen and practice listening, and it's so freaking hard. Actually, it's not like I'm good at it. I just know that what it feels like to be listened to, like, once in a while, and I know the reaction that I get from some people when I listen, or quotations, empathize. Mm-hmm. It just makes a difference. You're able to, like, break through some boundaries. I just noticed a lot of difference. And then I thought it was funny when you said, you're like, it's like, because I'm like thinking, like, well, how do I say about empathy? I don't want to talk too much about it. And
then I said, is empathy your jam?
I was like, yes, that's what it is. Like, and I don't want to go around promoting or preaching it. Like, I just think I've found a lot of
it's useful.
It's just useful and more ease in life, and especially the one thing that we've both learned, that we're continuing to seriously learn, we just more know about it versus learn it, is self-empathy. Mm-hmm. And how to empathize with yourself. And you specifically have been pointing that out to me, of how bad I talk to myself, or hard I am.
Yeah. Because it's almost like, I don't know, I've talked about this before with you too, but like how you're kind of always like waiting for like the other shoe to drop. So
I never stay in whatever I'm in. If I'm down, then I'm freaking out because it's convincing that I'm gonna be there forever,
Right.
or depressed or something. And then when I'm up, I always diminish it, that it's not that good. Or like if I got a good gig or a good little thing with the music, I'll be excited, and as soon as I'm excited, or as soon as you acknowledge that it's exciting or even buy into it, I'm like, well, it's not even a big deal, like blah blah blah, I should have done so much more and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like you're afraid to be too happy, like that means something bad will happen soon. Well, that's how I view it. Sometimes I don't know if you do.
That's
like
just, I mean, I find that in the addictive type people that I do think I can never, I forget what some kind of saying is, something with an inferior complex. It's like you want attention, and this totally probably describes me. Like I want to be the center of attention, but as soon as I am, I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, or I think it's wrong or something weird.
I would never want to be the center of attention.
I know. You want to be my center of attention.
That's not necessarily true.
It's somewhat true.
Like I want you to be obsessed with me.
No, not that. Like when you want my attention, you want it. Like when you want it on your schedule. There was something else I was gonna say. Oh, that sometimes when I'm talking bad to myself, like literally out loud or down on myself, and you're kind of being like, yo, you can't do that or blah blah. I do a little bit, and I know I do this with my mom. Like I exercise it a little more on purpose. I think a little bit subconsciously, because I know that that's something that's going on in my head all the time. So when I say it out loud, you can help me like literally verify it. Or not verify, just acknowledge it.
Like you want me to acknowledge the bad?
I just know that, like when I'm joking or something and I'll like extra joke and like you kind of push it too far. So sometimes or not you, but I will.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes I will do that, or even in hard conversations, because my mom and all of what, she's into and been through, I'll go I don't know, I'll exercise the hard moment more with somebody, I guess, that I trust. I guess it comes down to that. Like somebody that cares about you. I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
It does, kind of. It's kind of like me, where like you say everyone thinks I'm so sweet, and then like
then you're not.
I'm not to
that
you.
Part?
Like I only
I only
show you.
Everybody thinks you're awesome, and you're not awesome. No, I'm just kidding.
No, where you say like I kind of take it out on you. It's kind of like because I'm the most comfortable with you. Like you get to see all sides of me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that exciting for you?
Oh yes, it's adventurous. Yeah, and this might not all the way be true, but it is like I like to, drill in a point. I'm calling myself out here, but just that I feel like Tiff doesn't like conflict. She rarely meets it.
I'm a 9 in Enneagram.
And I'm a 4.
You are 4.
Tiff has been all into the Enneagrams. And sending me it on Instagram, each one. I keep forgetting which one I am, but it's pretty obvious actually when you read them.
I am a peacemaker, which means I hate conflict.
Yeah.
And I will avoid it at all costs.
Except
with my husband.
You will get down with me.
So you are the individualist. 4s are self-aware, sensitive, and reserved. Creativity, like basically a creator.
Cool. So let's talk about our state and our goals.
But I think I interrupted you.
On what?
You were saying how I don't like conflict.
Oh, I guess I was just going to touch on that
that
I was just going to explain my thing that I always say. Basically, we already said it, of that you will avoid conflict other than with me.
Yeah. Am I good at conflict with you?
No, you're not good at it.
Do I do it right?
We both have strengths and weaknesses in many areas. I'll leave it at that. That's for sure.
True.
Neither one of us are good at conflict. I don't think anybody is. I think this is part of why I want to do something like this, or learn from people. And if we do some of these together,
Mm-hmm.
then it forces us to, I don't know, take time out of our day to have a flipping conversation.
We do have conversations.
I know that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like a scheduled thing, like you like.
I love schedules. So yeah, we can talk about our current journey.
Or before we do that, we could say the only way we even got down here in the studio to do this is because we're both having a decent day.
Yeah.
We were just talking about on our walk, like, we always say this to each other, like, at least up until this point, but we've been going through a lot of changes for some years now, so it's just been a lot of growth stuff all the time, which it might not ever change, but it seems like whenever, like, we flip-flop our vibrations in a way. Like, if Tiff is really in a good spot, which has been here lately, I've been in a really fearful, scared, frozen spot and just hard times. And same thing where a lot of times, like in January through March, when I released my first song, I was like, all just getting up every day. You were just like mad at me. Not mad, but you were like, told Savannah that one time, you were like, your brother's like getting up and going to the gym at like 6 a.m. and
Yeah, so when Chad's like really up, sometimes I'm really down, like sleeping forever, and he's like, I don't know, you just get like a fire within you, and it's like it won't even let you go to sleep until like you pass out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we kind of like flip-flop off of each other for some reason. I'm sure there's a way we can like really dig into like why we do that and maybe like get on better schedules with that, but it seems like it's very far in between when we're both in a really, really good like spot. We can get stuff done together.
But it does happen.
It does happen. And we have been a lot like more conscious of it, I think, and at least acknowledging it, and even being, well, I've been really nice to myself lately when I don't want to do things.
Hell yeah, you've been nice to yourself.
I don't know, like marriage is hard, but there is a part of it that I know I'm an empath, and I think you are too. So I feel like we can just...
Is that your jam?
Being an empath is...
You don't think that's funny?
My jam.
That's part of...
I get it.
Okay.
Yes. It did take me a second. But it's hard to even know what emotions are yours sometimes. I'm just now noticing, like, I can feel other people's emotions or energy more so than I can feel my own at times. And I don't know if that is, like, just knowing that and being aware of that, like, is helpful for me with you and hopefully with you with me.
Yeah.
Because it's so confusing. I'm still trying to figure it out, but...
Well, I'll tell you what. If anybody's listening to this, Tiff has been, at least in my opinion, not trying to get all lovey-dovey, also not trying to have no kind of argument with you on here. But she's been growing in her own skin at the speed of light, and that might be part of... There's been times I've done that, and yeah, like if your partner, husband or wife or whoever is in a new adventure or growing, like it's natural to feel a little left out, and I haven't felt that way just because I've been on the other side so many times. I'm just been naturally fearful and down and all the changes going on in our life. So I'm trying not to, we always talk about like, yo, if you're down, just don't project it on the other person. And then the other person can possibly be there for you a little bit.
Right.
But what I do, circling back on when I say you only do conflict stuff with me, I can't get it out. That what I will blame you for sometimes is that you'll be down, but you won't just let me know you're down so I can be there for you. Then I feel like you projected on me, which I could be right or wrong about that. But it's just the fact that once I get defensive, I'm not good. I'm not good at one of us gets defensive. It's hard to be there for the other person.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely project. Duh. Doesn't everybody? I'm just kidding. It's not a good thing to do.
Well, it is what it is. It's like
right.
all this stuff is.
But at least acknowledging, like knowing it.
Right. That's what it's about for me. That's literally what freaking
empathy is.
If empathy jam is a thing, it's that just being more aware of why things are happening or tracking the path of thinking, emotions, or whatever.
Right. I saved this thing I wanted to say on here.
You got a plan?
It's just a Brene Brown quote, but it says, in order to empathize with someone's experience, you must be willing to believe them as they see it and not how you imagine their experience to be. And that's so freaking hard.
Especially, well, here's the hardest thing. If you don't agree, that's what's so hard, is when you have no idea why a person is thinking or doing the actions that they're doing. Go through a lot of that stuff as we go, and I'm hoping to be able to have guests on here to learn from people in this area, but also my jam friends. Have been practicing low key some of these, but Tiffany hasn't heard any of them. And I'll be honest, I feel just way more comfortable, at least this one.
Is it because I'm here?
Yeah. It's just because we visualize, and I'm always having these spurts of inspiration. So you're the only one that understands the most of what I'd like to do. And I don't understand it, but you understand you hear all the pieces float around all the time.
Yeah.
But I especially want a space that, for one, I can practice more listening, learning, storytelling. I love storytelling. I think that's one of my mantras, is either through music or a video or whatever it is. Had one guest, but that went well. That's Poppy. She's our guest. Is what it is. Do it DIY is what is also my jam. So I'm feeling I've come out of a little bit of a funk lately, and just yesterday I was like, okay, I was writing in my journal, and I was like, I think I got some things that make sense. And honestly, that I can be the hardest one to get out of the rut.
Yeah.
I feel like, because once I feel like I can put myself in other people's shoes really well in their hardest times, because I get there so much, So I wrote down some goals for the year, and I have so many different interests that's the one thing Tiff always says, I think you need to choose one thing and stick to it. Although I disagree with that, or I somewhat disagree with it, because I remember my mom got me, you asked me about the astrology star stuff. We might seem way more hippie than we are, or maybe we are hippie. And
I think
whatever.
We're slowly turning hippie.
Yeah. But when I graduated high school, she got me the astrology reading for something.
Graduation,
right? Or no, I didn't know what I was going to do. And she wanted to get me some clarity. And that lady did know that I was a creative person. She said I would do multiple things.
But you gotta start with one.
Oh, yeah. I know. I have started with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and lots of things.
That is very true.
But I at least categorized it down to my music stuff, this podcast that could be intertwined with that, and your new venture, and then the aquarium service that I've always done.
Mm-hmm.
Aquarium maintenance is a business that my dad started 30 years ago, and me and my sister do it. It's what I kind of do is, if I have anything regular that I do, I've been doing that for like 17 years.
Yeah.
So I did that all through college while I was gigging, playing cover songs. It's what I still do. So anyways, I was just going to get to the point that I wrote down our goals with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we were going to say, if we were going to talk about your side of things, and I'll let you take the lead on that so I know how far, not far you want to go into it.
I guess I'm trying to figure out.
Just say it. It's about to be the podcast name.
What?
That's what I'm about to make it hit it hard right off the bat.
That I quit my job?
Yeah.
So I quit. I resigned from my corporate position where I was making 6 figures, and I don't have another job lined up.
That's it right there.
And
If we can start something new. Yeah.
So yeah, it's so funny when I say it out loud. And the funny thing is it doesn't even make me nervous. And I don't know how. Chad's looking at me like I'm crazy. But so I worked for this company for 10 years, and it was great. Like, it was exactly what we needed. It brought us all the security we wanted and needed.
It met
all of our needs. I had great vacation time, great pay. From the beginning, it was great pay. So it made the most sense. And then I started noticing...
Well, you grew in the job, but from the beginning, within our perspective of where we came from.
From where we came from 10 years ago.
Godsend.
Yeah, it was like double what I was making.
Yeah.
Or like at least almost a third of it, right? Or whatever. It was a very big increase from my previous job. So it's always been a great stability, and we've always been able to count on it. There was one like wishy-washy time where I was laid off, kind of, but not really. But it's been great, and it's provided all the needs that we've had. But I started noticing in 2019, I just was like, I guess this is what a burnout starts to feel like, but I had no idea that it was that. COVID happened. I started noticing like a burnout, and then COVID happened, and my industry that I was in, it just got so busy, and we were working from home, and it was such a stressful 2 years. And then in the middle of all of that, in 2020, my nephew died, and something changed in me when that happened, and I started noticing like how unhappy I was in my position, but I didn't know what to do about it. So it took a good amount of time for it to just literally, I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, it just came to a time, like a day when, like, I had been telling Chad about it for a couple months that...
You've been having many breakdowns, but at the same time, over at least the last 5 years, we went in that wave of a lot of times. We have times where our different jobs and things we do butt heads, and I just thought it was that, like another wave of that, and then usually you get content and something happens and whatever, but it wasn't. It obviously was not that.
Right.
Because Miss Non-Conflict Tiffany never stirs up the pot, and it was like
I was stern.
You was telling me, you were like, I cannot do this another day, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like, what? Like, I'm thinking, like, I don't know, should I, like, be, like, firm, but, like, you can do, and I did a little, like, you can do anything you want to do. If you're mentally healthy, you can get through anything hard, and I tried that, but intuitively, I remember feeling like, yeah, I think we don't have to go in too deep. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. But you know the whole story today. You were basically telling me of like, I feel like I derailed you, and I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay.
Basically, the breakdowns weren't just a wave of unhappiness. It was dead serious. And then the one time in your office,
yeah, I just kind of broke down, and it was like very clear to me, and it was confusing because it was almost like it doesn't sound like anything I would say, but I was just like, I just can't do it anymore. I have to, like, I'm just gonna go on. I have to put myself on leave. And at that point, I had been seeing a therapist for a couple months, and it was clear that it was my job. It was one of those things where I had put so much time into this company, and they did, for the most part, treat me really well. Overall, it is a great company. But there was just a lot happening with the department I was in. So, yeah, I knew it, that I couldn't do it anymore. But we had also always had this plan that I wouldn't be there forever. Like,
yeah, we have been visualizing and dreaming about, once Chad's music takes off, like this, I don't know if I want to call it a pipe dream, because it's still a dream, a part of it. But whatever it is, something to where you can, finding myself with, then I would somehow find it,
mm-hmm.
and then that would give you the safe ability to quit easily, and then find yours. And it doesn't unfolding
like that.
Can I at least, and I'm not trying to get extra attention for myself, or if I am, you can tell me I am, but there was a moment where you weren't just like, I gotta put myself on leave. You were telling me I can't make it another day. And then I was just like, you actually don't have to.
Yeah.
And you were like, and you kind of went back on me, because one of our, what do I want to call it? One of our, it's like a perspective or our beliefs is that one of us had to work a normal job and hold insurance.
Right.
Mainly for me, because I have pre-existing diabetes, type 1. Yeah, type 1.
Juvenile diabetes.
Wasn't my fault. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing against type 2 at all, because that can also not be your fault. But anyway, we've always thought that, because it's always worked. Ever since we got married, it's worked. When I got done with college, whatever, and we thought, and
because it was very important for you.
We haven't got this figured out yet, by the way. So anybody is here in the very
beginning,
vulnerable, real. It can't be more real than this. And I just got over, like, basically shitting my pants about this stuff.
Yeah, but the insurance thing, it was very important for you to have insurance. Well, I was going to say something else, though, but it was like, yeah.
It's just all we knew. And other opportunities are unfolding as we speak in that area. I wanted to and then you touched on Noah, our nephew.
Yes. And
that sprung some of your... Well, I do remember when us mourning and getting through all of that, I want to go real quickly through this, but I got into Dave Ramsey stuff. We both did. We started working on our debt, stuff like that. And I feel like I got a little obsessive about it, because it helped me have something to concentrate on.
During the Noah thing
of you being there for Bailey, me kind of being there for you, but I kept my mind busy with that. I don't know. That might be a story I just make up to make sense, but
it was something that needed to happen in order for us not, well, I am not shitting my pants, but you are
Yeah.
for like quitting my job, because we were able to pay off all our debt but our house, which is the only reason why I'm not freaking out.
Yeah, it'd be the only reason why we're willing to take a risk.
Yeah.
And I hate saying this because this isn't a part of our dream, but if push come to shove, we both could get jobs that we hate again too, to make ends meet if we need to.
Oh yeah, but we're no longer using. So essentially, like, the whole plan was that we thought that we could plan out for Chad's, like, for some self-employment entrepreneurship to like make it so that I could quit my job and then find out, because I am also the person who's like doesn't really know what I like for some reason. Like, I don't have hobbies, I didn't play sports, I'm not a musician. So like, I don't know like what one of my passions really is. I mean, I do now because I'm actually thinking about it, but it was like I didn't think I could try to find out anything I wanted to do after I left my company, because I was too stressed out from my job. So
and you're also bought into that's your identity.
Yeah,
I was half of that too. Like, I know you got so much potential in other things that you haven't even figured out yet that you're good at and stuff.
But I was good at the job.
Yeah, you're super good at the job.
I was good at the job, and it was like working until it was like, I just am so, I don't know. It was working until it wasn't, and it happened very quickly. But when I look back, it wasn't a quick thing. It was something that was building up for me.
Well, for sure. And I would say that me and you also both buy into the identity that, like, oh, I'm going to be inspiring, or that I'm going to make this music. I'm always like trying to figure out how I'm going to help something or someone or inspire. But like, what you're going through, we've already been seeing how much you're inspiring people, like every which way, even people that and you keep saying like, you're just tell everyone, like, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just like, it's a way for me to cope, to just like, yo, like, I like to tell people like my bad qualities, like, this is me, you know, and in a way that feels like that to me, like, hey, Tiffany's quitting her job, like, we're kind of freaking out, blah blah blah. Like, but I'll just say, like, this might be our only podcast because it's so inspiring. No, but I'm serious. Like, you doing this, like, I texted you this morning. I'm just like, what the heck? Like, who are you? What happened to my wife that doesn't like any kind of change or conflict? But I can't say you're killing it, because we're not killing it. We're in the unknown, but maybe we are killing it. It's just that we're so still a little 1 foot in. The killing it means financial blah 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 blah, right. where me and you've been exploring for years now, of like, there's so much more value than just money stuff. And I wanted to say that when you were like, hey, no, this company was treating me really well, and it's like, I could debate you on that, like, but were they? Or that type of mindset when we talk about financial security, yes, there. But there's so many ways that you're not trying to bash it. You're just saying there's so many ways your needs were so not getting met that you're in tears saying, I can't make it another day. So, right. Not that we're not blaming anything or anyone. But
no, I definitely think everything, like, I moved around a little bit the last couple of years in the department, and that could be viewed as like, oh, like, it could be viewed by myself. I could judge myself and say, oh, like, you couldn't handle it. Or I could say it was like my intuition telling me, like, this isn't what you're like supposed to do. Like, you can do this, but like, it doesn't give you what you want. Like, I could do the job, but by the time I was done with it, by the end of the day, I was mentally and physically checked out. I couldn't do anything else. So I definitely think that taking the opportunities that were presented to me, like, was what I was supposed to do to make me realize, like, this isn't what you're going to do forever.
So I'm proud of you for doing it, and I'm also proud of you that you're willing to talk about it with me at all. That's a big step. And then you're willing to talk about it on this thing that we don't even know what's going to happen with it.
Right, like by the time this is released, I could be like,
You could be shitting your pants.
I could have to listen to this and like pump myself back up, but
But you're not.
yeah,
You're,
I'm
like,
not, and I'm honestly, I feel so much better. I actually went to the doctor yesterday because I'm lowering some medication, and I told her, I was like, I'm feeling really good. And I was like, I quit my job. And she was like, looked at me and she was like, that's a good thing, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, honestly, I have so many clients, or they're not clients, patients. And they're all like super anxious, have anxiety. And 98% of them, it's all due to their work, what they do for a living. 98% of them. And she was like, so I'm so glad that you quit your job. If that's a good thing for you. But like mentally, physically, like I've been able to do so much more. I'm going to like a naturopath, kind of getting into some like spiritual stuff.
You're just exploring left and right over here.
Yeah, yoga. I'm literally turning into a hippie and I'm excited about it. I'm going to be a good witch.
A good witch.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest, like we were talking at the beginning, my other shoe to drop, I get worried when you or me is in such a good spot, because I'm like, oh, but that too shall pass, and it does. It goes in waves, but I feel you. Like, I feel like you made the right decision. It's really obvious. Like, we're just in an unknown spot that hopefully we look back on this and be like...
Do you remember that one time Tiffany quit her job?
Yeah. Right. When everything was fine and going seemingly smooth, but it wasn't. It wasn't for you. And I knew it. We both knew it. That's why our goal was like...
Yeah.
You know, we've had... Well, first your goal, which is hilarious. We joked that the whole pandemic Tiffany brought on because of you got to stay at home, work from home, because her main goal was like, I want to work from home. Because we were invested in the belief that you have to still work for at least 5 more years.
In a corporate job, yeah.
Yeah, but the truth is,
I do work from home.
Yeah, you do work from home, and now a step further. I was kind of trying to segue into that. I feel a lot less of something, of guilt, my own self for having a different job or having a lot more say and flexibility. But then also even to talk about this thing, like I have not been able to start this thing. And then here, you even said it recently, like, maybe I could do Empathy Jam with you.
Right.
And I was thinking, like, I was honestly thinking, like, you're not going to want to do that. Like, but I'll say I'm grateful to just at least do. I right away want to put rules and boundaries and all this, and then it's got all these expectations, but I'm purposely, like, I hardly even want to mention the name because if that changed, it could change or whatever. But
we bought a sign for $250.
That's true. We got a sign. The sticker was only about $2.50, but we got a sign, so it's official. But I'm just glad you're here, and you can be here as much as you want. Like, you might end up being here every time. Who knows?
Right.
Or not, or at least hold my hand when I'm struggling, because and just be able to do it together, because the fact is I haven't been able to make my dream come true in the way that we envisioned.
But we also had like shaky visions of it too.
Well, yeah, and even this thing
because we were afraid to actually ask for what we want.
Yeah, and even this thing with you quitting your job it's a shaky. It's not unfolding the way we thought.
Yeah.
And I get nervous even saying that, as if we're successful, or as if we know. It's like we're looking back right now, because we're not. We are just in it.
I know, but there's one thing I want to say before I lose track. It's almost like when I was working that job, and when it was taking too much from me, but like it almost did kind of put like something there, because it was like I had to be like two people. I had to be like work Tiffany, and then I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is me quitting my job has opened me up to more.
You had to be non-conflict Tiffany, and then conflict Chad Tiffany as your second person. Is that what you're saying?
I was trying to think of how to call myself out nicely, but like I had to be. I don't know. Especially when I worked in the office, it's so much just like you spend so much time in that environment. Like I would spend more time working than hanging out or being around you guys on the days that I worked, for the most part. And I hated it so much. I think it affected me way more than when I realized.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, shut up.
We'll see if you
don't be jinxing it over there.
Keep this yoga Tiffany up. I cannot, like, I'm such a person. I like to be good at whatever I'm doing, and yoga totally humbles me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm so unflexible. But there has been times, like, I tried
You do P90X yoga.
I've done P90X before, and it does help, but it's so annoying. It's so hard.
Yeah, I thought that
And to be a
too.
fat dad and, like, trying to stretch my hamstrings, like, I can't even, like, I can't even really touch my knees, let alone my toes. Jesus.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, so there was one other thing. Oh, I want you to tell this story, and this is a long while ago. This is probably 3 years ago, when we were walking, and you're like, I think you haven't figured your music thing out.
Oh, yeah. It was like,
and I was like, what?
It was like, I meant it to not sound.
I know, but
okay.
It's still funny the way
it
you
was
said
kind
it.
of like, it was like me like blaming it on myself, because it was almost like, well, I guess I said, I feel like maybe your music hasn't taken off yet because I'm like blocking it somehow. Or like stopping it.
I think that's what it is, for sure.
Like I have all this like magical powers inside of me. No, but like it was almost like we didn't have like a clear goal on what we wanted it to look like. And then I was
well, and it was all up to me, while all the finances, or the big portion of it, is all up to you.
Yeah, and I'm in a job that I don't like. So it's like taking a toll on me without me realizing it almost. So I can't even be like myself, and that's
what you meant by it.
Yeah, like I couldn't be myself, and I just was basically like, maybe I just need to like what was my like, what did I say? Like maybe I just need to help more, or what did I say? Or I just basically blamed it on myself.
You just said it funny, like, I think the reason, like, sometimes you mean something different and you'll say, but your words were like, I think the reason why your music hasn't like happened is because of me. And I was like, what? Like, you basically said, it's because like I haven't like, it'll basically
I
give
haven't
you
signed off
I
on
haven't
it.
give you the magic idea or whatever. No, you didn't say that, but that's how I just started laughing. Like, I was laughing like, no, I don't think that's what it is. But I also didn't understand what you meant by that.
Yeah, but it's almost like yeah, it's just like maybe I was like, maybe the universe was like, that girl needs to work on herself some.
Mm-hmm. I think it was, yeah. It sure was.
Like, she don't even know how she feels right now.
Yeah. Also, was this the same conversation? I think it was. the same conversation, you had just gotten to the Rachel Hollis stuff, which I'm a fan. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of her. I only know her through you, and I listen to stuff through you. But I think she's great. And but when you started getting into her, remember what you said? You were just like, it's like, I've been studying all the creative stuff and how to be your own whatever, creative and entrepreneur, like, forever. I feel like I've been studying it. I've been wanting and believing that I possibly could do it one day. Like,
but I was stuck in this corporate mindset, even at home sometimes.
Yeah. But when you found the Rachel stuff, you were like, you were getting all into this. I got you one of her journals for Christmas. That's what you wanted. And you're like, I can kind of see how you could. I can kind of see how you could do what you've been talking about.
Yeah, I could kind of see how you could make your dreams come true.
And I'm like, yeah, duh. Like this, because she started showing me Rachel stuff at that time, Rachel and Dave. And I was like, yeah, they're doing all the stuff like similarly to a musician or an artist or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I want to try to grow, and I think I can do it one day or whatever. So, anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. But it really has opened my mind to, like, just not living in, like, a fear state. And I think that's, I've lived like that, like, my whole life.
Yeah.
I've been conditioned to, like, not take risks and be really careful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like that too. Honestly, that's where I think our Taurus signs line up, because as much as you think I do take risk, I will, but a lot of it's because of it's more acting out against, that's my natural state. My natural state is very shy. As a kid, I was really shy and scared, fearful, that I was, insecure, all that stuff. That is actually, you don't always believe me that I'm an introvert at heart, but I will be an extrovert to, like, combat that. I can turn the extrovert stuff on.
Ugh, I'm an introvert.
You're all the way.
Yeah.
I'm
a turtle in a shell.
A little turtle. Just since we talked about Rachel, and it was so hard for me the other day, we were like, listen to this affirmation list for, it only takes 10 minutes. I was like, oh, this is hard for me to do, but I'll do it. And I only do it because I'm trying to put in a deposit for when she don't want to listen to the thing I want her to listen to. But
yours are never 10 minutes though. Just kidding.
If we left with something, hey, hush it. I'm not trying to be overly inspirational. I just thought of, like, maybe that's a cool way to end it right now.
So I write affirmations a lot. One of my favorites is I know myself.
I have a similar one, but I always say, I know who I am.
Okay.
Okay.
Mine is I know myself, and then
Why you want to know yourself?
You got to know yourself to grow yourself.
Oh, that's so hilarious.
But that's a Shrink Chicks podcast. That's their motto. So yeah, I know myself, and then another one that I use that's very I'm trying to think of, I used to write my soul is calm, but it's pretty calm, so I stopped writing
it. You know what? That's hilarious you say that, because I always stop doing the good thing for myself as soon as I start feeling better.
Well, it's just like I created it into something different,
Yeah.
I think I have one that says I'm a source of light.
Oh my gosh. You little hippie.
What is yours?
Well, was hardcore into journaling, but then, which I never was. It took me about 5 years to start one, but I've still been struggling. But here lately, I have been writing some more. So yeah, I say that I know myself. I think about.
You don't say that.
Or not that. I know who I am. I know who I am, and I write, I'm patient.
I write, I'm an exceptional wife. I have to keep writing that one
You
because it hasn't
you better
happened.
keep writing that one.
What do you write about me?
I put you on my gratitude list all the time.
Okay. But not your affirmation.
Hey, here lately, because you quit your damn job, I write, we are financially secure. All right, well, this is the first one. We'll figure out if we get any kind of format to it. What's your intuition? Should we have a format? Should we eventually have an intro or something, or no?
Oh, for sure. We need to have an intro before we release this one.
What?
Yeah.
No way. This one's just going to start like, all right, you ready? I'm Tiffany.
And I'm married to Chad.
Let's test your mic. I'm Tiffany, but I don't like when Chad calls me Tiffany.
I don't.
I like Tiff, and I'm married to Chad. All right.
Bye.